Hey everyone, welcome to an episode from Ampro Engineering, and this one here is just going to be a little where I've been lately, I suppose. I've gotten quite a few emails with people hoping I'm okay. Not used to that. Typically it's the forum administrators who, well, they don't hope I'm okay. But that's a whole other story. As you can see here, I'm not actually prepared for a video, and that's kind of what I want to do in this video, is just kind of show you why I haven't posted anything in a couple of weeks. This particular upgrade here, I've got a funny story. I've got a long video about this upgrade, as well as how the upgrade started, which was just going to be a freshening up of the Tamiya high lift chassis, and as you can see here, it's changed a little bit into a transmission lift, as well as the repositioning of the motor. So don't worry about all these pieces here. I will go over those soon, but I figured let's just do a quick video to show you what's coming up and why I haven't been posting. So again, I do apologize for the mess here a little bit. There we go. That's much. All right, what have I been up to? Okay, here's a good one here. Just reaching up. Here is the Fast Attack vehicle. Those of you that own a Fast Attack vehicle know that it's a military vehicle. So a purple pearlescent, in fact, the car actually looks super weird, and you can't even see what color the car is in the camera. It looks brownish. It's actually many colors, but this is all standard fare. What is new is this roof here. So this is a 3D printed piece, and again, let's try and come on. Focus. There we go. So this is a 3D, that's kind of the color you're seeing there. 3D printed piece here, and this will plop right on top of the roof. And then we have this neat little rack over here that goes on top, and it doesn't have to, it's just one of the many variations, and then you can put some lights on it. And the lights in question happen to be these little guys here, which are in fact operational. So they've got a little Marshall, there you go, Marshall insignia here. It's a little cat head. Can we see that? There we go. So a couple of neat things on this car. You can see at the rear here, there is a little engine that's mounted here. This is not my design. This is designed by Knight Customs. You can find them on Shapeways. Really, really great little upgrades for some of the older Tamiyas. They do a lot of scalar stuff now as well, but I've owned this for quite a while, and I've been happy to install this. I've got some other things to do, and one more little thing I wanted to show you about this. For some reason, I always felt that the Fast Attack needed a ridiculous wing, so there it is. A little bit of a ridiculous wing here. Okay. You know, we'll go over all this stuff when the time comes, but I did want to point out some of the coming up here on the Fast Attack vehicle. What else have I gotten here? Still working on Project Hornet 2, and this is actually funny because after quite a bit of research in trying to create the proper font for the Hornet 2 emblem on the wing, as well as the number 5 on the side here, I determined that the Hornet 2, as was noticed on the Tamiya USA website, I'll pull up a little image here, that is not only a difference in decals, there's some differences to the body. You can see I added these grills to be a little more consistent with that prototype, but the whole body is significantly different. After quite a bit of trying to try some new filters and searching what or how it actually said Hornet 2 up here, my wife and I have determined that it never said Hornet 2. We feel that that prototype Hornet on the Tamiya website actually was always called the Super Hornet. So I'll be making some custom Super Hornet decals for the wing here. And with that said, we can see the Rising Fighter. Now, this one was intended to be my Hornet 3, and that is not going to change. You can see I am beginning to decal the car up a little bit here. Like the other car, I will have a decal on the roof that, or on the wing here, I should say, that does in fact say Hornet 3, kind of keeping with the motif of the Blackfoot 3, how it went from Blackfoot to Super Blackfoot to Blackfoot 3. That'll be what's happening here. Much like the Grasshopper 2, where I did install the double wishbone front suspension, the Rising Fighter will be getting that as well. However, there's been a number of requests, and trust me, I have heard you folks out there about preventing this on the Rising Fighter. I'm pretty close to doing that. What has held me back is that right there. That was not supposed to take this long. Anyway. So this is happening here, and that'll be kind of nice to kind of keep the Rising Fighter transmission to stop doing this. I've also got a number of my ORVs back from MIP in Southern California. So this is my race Frog, and there's a couple of neat things on this car. This does have the Thorpe rear differential, which after an extensive rebuild and searching NOS parts for it and actually buying the thing nearly new, is a complete and utter pile of garbage. So I'm incredibly excited to replace this junk with the MIP ball differential. So we're really praying that MIP ball differential does come to fruition. I believe right now we're at about 200 units. And our goal is 250, and there is just over a week left. So folks out there, fingers crossed, if you haven't ordered it, please do so. Tonight it goes to 10% off from 20% off, and you do lose that free shipping as well. So please, if you do want your differential for your ORV car, please go ahead and check out the previous episode where I do spend far too much time talking at the camera. Nevertheless, I know some folks were interested in some of these shock towers over here, and I was kind of confused about why people wanted them, but it turns out you just can't get them anymore. And these really aren't that old. These are about a year old or so, but I can take a look and see if some of the SLS material will be strong enough for this kind of load. By the way, these shocks are some very inexpensive eBay units, and they're trash. So don't buy these. They're terrible. These are also crap, but they work pretty well. They're crap for a couple of other reasons that I can go over a little later on. And we will have another build video of this one here, as this car is going to be getting the double wishbone rear suspension with a little secret project here for the Frog body. So this will have a neat little upgrade as well, and we'll see more of this Frog. A little upgrade over here. So some of you have seen this car's build. This is Project Hardcoret. I'm going to try and scoot the camera back a tad so we can see more of the car. This car has been the validation for the double wishbone rear suspension Hornet. That is my next major project. That one's nearly complete too if I stop shouting at the computer. This car started life off, well, probably as a Grasshopper, because it did originally have a Grasshopper shell. I found this on eBay, kind of hacked together with some Sand Scorcher or SRB rear suspension and Sand Scorcher front suspension. So it was a weird little car and kind of hack, but I had to have it. And I simply took the previous owner's design and went to town. I created this little cage over here, locked the transmission in place. We do have a replication of the SRB rear swing arms, but these are completely 3D printed SLS, as I did make some modifications to the shock mounting area. They are completely ball bearing ridden. So as these move, the rod that goes through here is riding on a 5x8 ball bearing. So it's kind of cool. Performance is insanely good. I mean, if you compare this to a Hornet, it's pretty surprising. I did have to make custom rear rims, as I wanted to pull the offset in a little more, because originally the tires stuck out 20 millimeters more per side. And I also installed some re-release front suspension. It had some CRP units, nylon ones, which are kind of cool, but I really didn't want them for this application. And then you can see here that I've made a front subframe that holds it all in place. And in close or brief inspection, the Nerf bars look stock until you see them from the top. You can see that they kind of go straight down here and out. So a little changes there. And the entire rear suspension is held together by this little brace here, which does a couple of things. Most importantly, holding the body in place. The body does sit much lower. This is just kind of parked here for now because I had to do weird things to get the body to fit without chopping everything up. So there's some very light modifications to the body, but overall it's pretty minimal. So this will be a really nice take on the Super Champ. I've always loved the appearance of the Super Champ, never cared for that chassis. So now I've got kind of a cool little mix of the Hornet that I love and the cosmetics of the Super Champ, which is, you know, incredibly beautiful. All right, last but least for now, because I'm getting tired and it's late, is this. Now, the Tamiya King Cab has always been one of the cars I've always loved. This is my first one, and I picked it up very recently on Facebook, actually, on one of the Facebook pages. And I got a killer deal on this car. The previous owner said it was used, and when I flipped the belly over, I have got to tell you, his definition of used and my definition of used, very different. This thing is nearly new. It's a beautiful example of the King Cab. I did have this thing operational, and it is just terrifying. I don't even know what Tamiya. My favorite part of it, and maybe something is built wrong. So before all you King Cab folks out there start hurling pieces of broken differential at me, you can maybe just tell me what the issue is. But right now, if I move the suspension up, and it's a little bit hard to see. Let me zoom in a tad. If I zoom the suspension, if I press the suspension up and down, I'm going to hold the rear of the chassis here. As I move it, what's happening is this upper link is rubbing on the shock. Are you freaking kidding me? This must be built wrong. But I looked over the instructions. It looked right to me. But I don't understand what I'm seeing here. So maybe some of you folks out there that own this truck will know more than I do. But there are going to be some interesting upgrades that I'm going to do to this. First things first, I did order a stealth transmission conversion for this chassis from a gentleman on eBay, and I'm super excited to put that in this truck because the one run I took it on, it was just terrifying. And you can see it does have an upgraded motor, but it is a stock. In fact, I don't even know what the heck it is. Speed. I can't even tell what that is. Anyway, this is going to be an awesome little project here. I'm not going to do too many upgrades, but I think one of the upgrades might be a bumper that doesn't transmit every impact directly to the rigid chassis, causing cracks. So, you know, there's a little room to improve on this truck, so I'm excited to do that. And in closing, I'm just gonna look at that while I'm talking over here. Thank you all for watching. You do see that I have got quite a bit of insanity coming up over here. As soon as I finish that stupid chassis right there, that's the one over here that's annoying me. As soon as I finish that mess, we'll have a lot more stuff coming up. And what I'm really excited about is that MIP differential for the ORV cars. I have waited 30 years for a diff that works on that truck, so I really hope that we do hit that number. Please stay tuned, subscribe, like me on Facebook, and go ahead and add me on Instagram. I do post there quite often, and you can kind of be up to speed on some of my designs as I make some changes. Thank you again, and we will see you soon.